Today I'm going to be showing you guys a grade 5 science lesson on the human organ systems. My main focuses are going to be on the respiratory system and the circular system. So what we're going to go over in this video is our outcomes and indicators, the cross-curricular competencies, a list of all the body systems, we're going to investigate heart rate, and we are going to do an activity where we create organs to understand their functions, and then we'll wrap it up with our conclusion. So our outcomes we are going to hit today is the Human Body 5.2. Investigate the structure, function, and major organs, one or more human body systems such as digestive, excretory, respiratory, circulatory, nervous, muscular, and skeletal system. The three indicators that I'm going to be hitting are explain at least two functions of the human digestive, excretory, respiratory, circular, nervous, muscular, or skeletal systems. My two main ones again are the respiratory and circulatory. We are going to design and carry out procedures including identifying and controlling variables to investigate the structure and or function of one or more body system. You'll see the activity later. And model the structure and or function of one or more organ from the human digestive, excretory, respiratory, circulatory, nervous, muscular, or skeletal system. And once again, you'll see that later on. So the cross-curricular competencies that we'll be hitting is developing thinking, inquiry cycle, investigating variables, analyzing BPM date, and creating models. We're going to hit developing identity and interdependence. They're going to be understanding their own body wellness practices and how systems rely on one another. And lastly, developing literacies, scientific literacy, numeracy, interpreting biological information, hands-on experimentation. So here are a list of the human body systems. The human body is filled with organs. Each organ has a specific job to keep you alive. And human bodies are so complex that multiple organs will work together as a system to perform bodily functions. There are many different organ systems in the human body. Here are 11 listed. We have the respiratory system, which is how we breathe. We have the digestive system, which is how we process our food. We have our urinary or excretory, which is how we process liquid. Our nervous system, which is our senses, so eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and touch. We have our integumentary, which is our outer protective layer, aka skin, hair, nails, etc. We have our circulatory or cardiovascular, which is pumping our blood and our heart. We have our endocrine, which is what releases hormones. Our immune system, which fights off bacteria and germs. Our reproductive system, which has to do with genital organs and reproduction. And we have our skeletal, which is our bones and cartilage. I have another video here linked that can go into more detail about each one of these systems, but I'm only focusing on respiratory and circulatory. Respiratory system. This is our lungs. So what is it? The respiratory system is made up of your lungs, air, throat, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles, our diaphragm, our voice box, throat, nose, and mouth. What does it do? The main function is to help you breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. This system is also the reason that we can smell and speak. Another function is to protect you from harmful particles or germs. That is why we cough. That is the system keeping you safe. And so why is it important? Breathing is a way to give your body energy. The oxygen that you breathe in is absorbed into your blood cells and carried across your body, which is used for other systems. Our circulatory system, aka the heart. What is it? The main organ in the cardiovascular or circular system is the heart, but it also includes blood vessels such as arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries, veins, and capillaries. What it does. The heart acts as a pump to circulate blood through the arteries, veins, and capillaries, sending energy to all the other body systems. The left side of the heart takes in the oxygen-rich blood, or our energy, from the lungs, sending it to the rest of the body. The left side of the heart pumps the oxygen or the byproduct after the oxygen is used, blood back out through the lungs. And why is this important? This system supplies oxygen and nutrients to your whole body, while also removing the carbon dioxide and other unneeded chemical byproducts. So in our diagram right here to the left, you can see where it is going to be entered in from the body, and that is coming from the lungs. And then it's going to go through and then come back to the heart, and then it's going to exit out of the body, back out to the lungs, and then out. So for our first activity, we're going to be teaching the kids how to find their heart rate. So step 1 is to teach them where the heart is. So using 2 fingers, you can feel on the side of your jaw, just under your chin, or just under your jawline. You should feel a pulsing sensation. It may take a few tries to find it, but just move around your neck till you find it. You can also find it in your wrist, but it's much stronger in your neck, so I always suggest doing that. Once they're able to find their heart rate, I'm going to get them to measure their blood pressure. So to do this, you're going to count how many times you feel that your blood pulse during a 15-second interval. Once you get that's done, you're going to multiply that answer by 4, because 4 times 15 is 60, so a minute. So this will be your BPM, aka beats per minute. Once students know how to find their BPM, they're going to go into an activity where they investigate their heart rate. So the first thing is to figure out their current heart rate. So using the technique they just learned, find their BPM and write down an answer on a sheet of paper. I would suggest labeling this one as a resting BPM. So for the next trial, they can start manipulating the heart rate. So for this one, take slow, deep, long breaths to calm your entire body. Record BPM and label this one as calm BPM. For my third trial, I would have them rapidly breathe in and out, taking quick, short breaths for about 30 seconds. They could do it longer, shorter, depending on who they are, just making sure that they're safe. And then they're going to record this BPM and label it as a stress BPM. For my last one that I had suggested is an exercise, and if exercise has any effect on heart rate. So have them do like 10 to 15 jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, whatever you'd like. Get their heart pumping. Calculate their BPM and label this one as fitness BPM. They can also answer a few questions. So what do they notice that's different about BPM compared to each experiment, and what in daily life will change your heart rate? The goal of this activity is to get them to understand how the lungs and the heart, yes, they're 2 different systems, can actually be intertwined and affect each other. So for my following activity, we're actually going to create a model of a working lung and heart. So for our working lung, we're going to need the materials, all these materials, and for the heart, we'll need those. And I'm just going to quickly upload a video of me doing those tutorials. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a 3D model of working lungs. For this activity, we are going to need 3 balloons, a pair of scissors, tape, a straw or multiple straws, and a plastic bottle. The bigger, the better. We are going to start by cutting off the bottom half of the bottle. It's really important that you make this as smooth as possible so that it doesn't cause any issues later on. For this next step, we are going to be making the throat and the lungs using a straw and 2 balloons. To do this, we need to cut our straw into 3 pieces, 1 longer one and 2 shorter ones. Then, you're going to cut a slit in the longer one. So once you've made your slit, you're going to add your 2 littler straws onto each end, like so. Then you're going to use your tape to make sure that this is airtight. So this is what you kind of want it to look like. It's a good idea to spend more time on this because you really want to have a good seal. For this next step, we're going to tie 2 balloons to either end of our straw. Once you're done, it should look a little bit something like this. So our straw here is going to represent our throat or our windpipe. This little split here is going to be the bronchi, and then the 2 balloons is now our lungs. Putting this aside now, next to our bottle, we are going to take our balloon and tie a knot at the end. Once the knot is tied, you're going to cut off the end bit of our balloon. It should now look like this. Let's grab our parts from the beginning. We are going to take our lung setup and put it inside of the bottle, aka the chest cavity. Using tape, create a seal around the straw and to hold it in place. Alternatively, if you still had the cap, you could also just poke a hole through it and use putty to make it seal. For the last step, we are going to take our balloon and wrap it around the bottom.
How do you mash the balloon?
This is now the complete model of our working lung. If you pull the bottom, you can watch balloons inside, your lungs inside, deflate and inflate. The balloon that we are pulling is acting as our diaphragm, because when our diaphragm tightens, it fills with air, and when it loosens, it releases air. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a model that represents how the heart pumps blood to the rest of your body. We are going to be needing 2 containers, 2 straws, a balloon, scissors, toothpicks, and some tape. For step 1, you're going to want to cut the neck of the balloon off of the balloon. The next step is to fill up one of the cups with water. If you would like to be extra, you can add red food coloring to represent the blood. I unfortunately don't have any. Place the balloon on top of your jar to act as a lid. Using a toothpick, you're going to poke 2 holes on either side of the lid. We want these holes to be nice and small so that when we fit our straw through, it has a nice, tight seal. But you have to be careful that it doesn't rip like this. When this happens, we're going to have to grab a new balloon because we're no longer getting that tight seal. Once you have your 2 straws in with a tight seal, you're going to make sure they're far enough in that they are both reaching the water. Using the leftover neck of the balloon, I'm going to tape it to one of the ends of the straws to create a seal preventing air from going through. We have now finished creating our basic model of a working heart. Our whole jar is going to represent the heart. This is going to represent where the blood is coming in, and this right here is going to represent where the blood is going out. We're going to place our second jar over here to catch our blood from exiting, so this jar here will represent the body. It might be a good idea to use a bendy straw. I unfortunately don't have any, but this will work as well. It is now time to test out our 3D model of the heart. By putting pressure on our heart, just like it does when it pumps, blood shoots out our veins and into our body. Thank you for watching my tutorial on how to make a working 3D model of a heart. That's all.
Thanks so much for watching my grade 5 human organ systems lesson plan on heart and lungs. Here's my citations.